Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Urudeva Deva. Hari Om. Now we are looking after understanding that Brahmatma Ekatva Bodhena Moksha Siddhati Na Anyatha means only by knowing that aham brahmasmi, because I am looking for happiness that I want to be unlimited, inexhaustible happiness which I cannot get anywhere, and scripture says you are already that. That means aham brahmasmi has to be recognized, and that's what Vedanta is trying to teach. So therefore, in order to recognize aham brahmasmi, I am the Brahman, I have to give up my wrong notions that I am this, starting with Koshas, that is 5 Koshas. That means there are 5 things that I identify in the hierarchy, starting from I am this body. So I am this, in essence, is the ego, ahankara. So ahankara is nothing but I am plus this. That means I am identifying myself with this. So all my biodata is only this. So I am identifying with that, and the first identification starts with I am the body. So therefore Pancha Kosha, the analysis of 5 koshas means these are the sheets, because they are the ones that which I am identifying. I am not that, but I am that which enlivens the sheet. That has to be understood by analysis, and therefore what we are doing now is inquiry for sadhana, for doing the practical, the sadhana in terms of the discipline, where I had to give up the wrong notions by clearly understanding I am not this, and starting with the body is made up of annam. It came from annam, sustained by annam. Annam is food, and it goes back to become food for others. Therefore it is called annamaya kosha, and therefore my intense identification with the body, or my identification is so intense, the whatever that happens to the body, I take it's happening to me, starting with I am tall, I am fat, I am thin, I am white, I am black, all the skin colors or the weight of the body as my weight. And also locomotion, or in terms of I am here and I want to be there. So I had to use the karmendriyas in order to proceed. So when we talk about karmendriyas are part of the body, we are only talking about the external, the hands and legs and the speech, tongue and all that. Those external, that matter that belongs to the annam, that belongs to the food part. And here we are analyzing the sloka 164 of Viveka Chudamani, that says Dehendriyadav says asati. They are essentially mithya. That means they are not real or unreal. Since I am experiencing and using it, therefore it's not unreal, but at the same time it's not real because it is continuously deteriorating. Therefore deha indriyadi asati, and brahmoditam, it is brahma uditam. Therefore it is born of delusion. We went through the analysis of what is an illusion and what is the real knowledge. Prama and Brahma. Prama is non-negatable knowledge. It will never be negated by any other pramanas. Whereas Brahma is that which, when I get a better information, I dismiss the previous knowledge as not really knowledge. So when I see a snake, where the rope is, I think that is my prama, that is the knowledge that I have. But only upon subsequent inquiry, with a better way of looking at the pramana or perception, I negate my previous knowledge as that was a brahma and not a prama. That was only my subjective understanding of what it is. I am bringing a snake that is somewhere else in my mind, and where I am seeing where the rope is. So snake is where the rope is, but snake is actually coming from my mind, and therefore it is subjective projection on the object rope. So that's called brahma. Brahma is essentially Rupam, as was discussed in the Mundaka Upanishad. It's only name and form, but the substantive is Brahman himself, since he said he himself became many. And in the becoming many, so both from the conscious entity, unconscious entities also came into picture, just as this Upanishad gives an example from a living entity, the nails and hair coming out, which are not conscious entities. In the same way, both the conscious and unconscious entities are produced in the creation, and one Brahman became many, both conscious and unconscious entities, and that has to be understood. But this is the reality is only Brahman, and other things are Nama Rupam, only names and forms. But taking the names and forms as a real is called Brahma. So Brahma Uditam. So it is Deham, the body is itself is born of the Brahma, because once I take that this is my body, then I perform an action using the body as I am doing the action. Kartrutva bhavam is also comes into picture, that is I am a doer, and therefore I have to suffer the consequence of that. Hence, the vasanas are accumulated, and vasanas become a cause for further body and so on and so forth. So therefore, the body is the product, karyam, and karanam is the vasanas here, and the vasanas are formed because of previous actions in the past. So this is what has to be, a cyclic process has to be inferred here. So Brahma Uditam, because I do not know the reality, and I take the other than what it is as real, that's called Brahma. Taking other than what it is and assuming the reality for what I am taking is Brahma. Assuming the snake is real is Brahma, when it is only innocent rope. Assuming the world is real is Brahma. What is there is only Bhagavan or Brahman or aham brahmasmi, therefore I am the substratum for the whole universe too. That, forgetting that, taking other than, this is different, that is different. So all the differences are nama rupa, or the names and forms that are differing, and taking that as I am is the Brahma, because that's not real. So whenever I take something other than what is there is what is called Brahma. So even the body is born out of Brahma only, or body notion that I am Brahma, I am the body is also due to Brahma, because I do not know myself also. So in both ways it is Brahma Uditam. So Vidwan ahantam na jahati yavatu tavanna tasyasti vimukti vartapi astvesha vedanta nayanta darshi. So here it says, I may be an expert in all fields, I may be Vidwan in terms of all apara vidya, all objective sciences, I may be the greatest scientist in the world and with Nobel laureate and so on. As long as I do not understand, or I have the ahantam, aham means I notion in this body, I am the body. As long as I have that notion, there is no liberation for me. I may be an expert in every other field, but if I do not know the basic fundamental of what Advaita is point to point out, that I am not this, because I am a subject and this is an object. This is Drusyatvam, Bhautikatvam, Savikaratvam, Sagunatvam, Agamapayitvam, all that Anichyatvam, all that is implied in the body. We went through all those words because Drusyatvam, it is perceptible. then it is essentially bhautikatvam is made up of material, whereas I am a conscious entity and not a material. And sagunatvam, it has the properties, and savikaratvam, continuously modifying, and agamapayitvam, and it has a date of birth and so on. So as long as I do not recognize that and take body I am, so ahantam means I notion is that which is wrong. So false idea about that I am the body. So as long as I have that and I do not give up that, najahati yavatu, I do not give up the wrong notion that I am the body. How do I give up the wrong, that is wrong? Only when I have a right understanding, I give up that. This is when I see a rope, then I give up the notion that it was a snake. I won't have snake and the rope there. It is only snake or rope only. But I took it as a snake, not knowing it is a rope. So how do I give up that it is a snake? Only I have use a better pramana or better means of knowledge that reveals that truth, and that's what is Vedanta is doing. Objective sciences cannot reveal it because they are not pramana for knowing who I am. That's why one has to be careful. A scientist can never discover. So Vidwan, even though he may be a greatest scientist, he will never be, we are talking about scientist means objective scientist. Vedanta is also science, and from that point there is an absolute science. But here only reference to Vidwan is only Aparavidya Vidwan. And Asveshu Vedanta Nayantadarsi. Here it's a warning for even to a Vedantic student by the scripture here, by Shankaracharya in the Viveka Chudamani, says he may be knowing even Vedanta as a scholar of Vedanta, studied as a subject that he needs to learn, and he may be appointed as a professor of Vedanta in a college to teach Vedanta also. But even though astu, even let it be, but still there is no moksha. Not only there is no freedom, even he can think of even word, says vimukti vartapi, even the news of that cannot be even can reach him. So it's a big warning to make sure not only I listen to Vedanta and I have to apply Vedanta to myself, that I am not this, has to be assimilated in all my transactions. That means I know I am not this, I can use this, but I cannot really identify myself that I am the body. I can identify for transactional purposes. So if you go to the airport and ask what is your ID, you have to show your picture of your body obviously, and date of birth, and so on and so forth, all your requirements. That is for transactions, knowing well I am not this. And with that, if we examine the body, it says in the sloka, we go back to 157 in here, little backwards, but it says Purvam janerapi mrute adhanayamasti. So it says, what is this body? Body being now analyzed in terms of its nature. It is impermanence aspect of that. So this is what I had to inquire into. This is not really permanent. Why? This is Purvam janerapi mrutehe adhanayamastu jatakshana gunaha anita swabhavaha naiko jadascha gadavatu paridrusyamanaha swatma katam bhavati bhava vikara vetta. Let's chant again. Those who have books can look at it. It's the sloka number 157. It says Purvam janerapi mrutehe adhunayamasti jatakshana gunaha anita swabhavaha naiko jadascha gatavatu paridrusyamanaha swatma katham bhavati bhava vikara vetta. So here it says, I am not this, and who am I? This is an inquiry now. This has to be done in the seat of meditation or constant inquiry. To whenever I get into the identification that I am the body, I have to remember these things in order to detach myself from the body. This has to be done intellectually or cognitively. That's why I have to use a viveka, the discriminative intellect, to differentiate that I am not this. because I am a subject and this is an object. And this is Purvam Janerapi. So Janehe Api Purvam. It was not there. This is before the birth. So everybody has a date of birth. So what was I before I born? What do you mean what I don't know what I was I. Therefore, because I am identifying with the body is born on particular date of particular day, and therefore I as though entered into the body. That's what the Vedanta says. Upavishati. The body, conducive body, I enter into because I need a body to exhaust the vasanas. But I am not the body as I am entering into the body. That's how the life enters in the womb, as in the conception stage. So according to Vedanta, when the life starts, the very conception itself, the life is, because that's the time life as though enters into it. Through the father and mother, the life has become one, and that's called the date of birth. But I am entering into it, therefore I am not born. So I am occupying a particular body conducive to exhaust by vasanas. That's how one should understand here. Purvam Janerapi. Before the birth, it was not there. Murtehe Adha Na Ayam Asti. This body is not there. Murtehe Adha. After the death is not there. So before birth is not there, after the death is not there. So in between this lifespan is very, actually we think it's 100 years. Even if 100 years, it's only very short compared to the even cosmic time. Says that we are talking about billions of light years and so on and so forth, and this 100 years is of insignificant life, and that's what Purvam Janerapi Mutehe Aduna Ayam Asti. Aduna Ayam Asti. Aduna Na Ayam Asti. Jata Chana Chana Gunaha. Says, according to Vedanta, every chanam, every minute is being born as though. So even according to science, says every hour the cells are continuously changing. So the body is undergoing continuous modifications, and therefore the whole body itself is regenerating all as though. But since it's continuous, I will not recognize, I think I am the same person as though. So Jata Chana Chana Gunaha Anita Swabhavaha. So therefore it is Aniyatam. So it is essentially, it is impermanent and or inconsistent. Therefore there is no consistency of that. So essentially it is impermanent, and anything that is impermanent I cannot, which is anityam, therefore it is not absolutely real. Anitya swaha naiko jadascha gatavatu paridrusya banaha. So na ekaha, it is one, that jadaha, that is the inert, and gatavatu, like a pot. So it's a pot, there is no life there. So pot is just a matter assemblage. So just like a pot, it is being paridushyamanaha. Therefore it is visible like a pot. So I can see this body. So I am a seer, and this is a seen. Seen is different from a seer. So I am different from this body. So I am not the body. Therefore, Swatma Katham Bhavati Bhava Vikara Vetta. So Swatma Katham Bhavati. How can this be I am? So that itself is the wrong, very fundamental wrong error, because I am a subject and is an object. And how can I be an object? Object cannot become subject, and subject cannot become an object. And this is the analysis. But even though logically we analyze it, when something happens to the body, I say I am hungry, I am thirsty, all problems of the body I superimpose on myself. And this is what essentially problem. Swatma katham bhavati bhava vikara vetta. The one who knows the bhavas, essentially the modifications, bhava means modifications of the body I am no, because the body is continuously changing. When the child body is different, the adolescent body is different, the toddler body is different, the adolescent body is different, the teenager and so on. Every time body is continuously changing, and I am the knower of it, because I know when I was young, we will say, and I was doing this and that and of this height and so on. All the qualifications of the body I know, because I am a knower, and the modifications of the body do not belong to me. Therefore, I am not the body. This has to be understood. It's called, as long as the body, I am there, but I am there even without the body and before the body. So, Purvam Janerapi Mutehi says in the Mundaka Upanishad, in the Mandukya Karika, says Gaudapada Acharya says Adav ante cha yannasti vartamane pitattadha. It was not there before Adav, ante, it is not going to be there afterwards. Then what is there in the middle? Middle also it's not there. You think it is there, but it's not really there. So what is there is actually that which pervades through before and after and in between also. That is essentially the beginning where I am entering, and people say he is gone, he is dead and gone. In all languages it says mar gaya or sachi poinadu, or he is dead and gone. That means he is not the body, he left the body and went somewhere. So Ante went somewhere in search of the body. So therefore, the identification with the body is only temporarily, and I can occupy an apartment conducive for my transactions, but once the apartment becomes very bad, I have to leave the apartment and find a new apartment. And the whole Bhagavad Gita, Gita starts with this message, because Arjuna was crying, I'm going to kill before even kill. He's crying because how am I going to kill my teacher and my great sire in whose lap I grew up? So therefore, he is assuming the body is essentially the person rather than the one, that living entity who is occupying. The body can die, but he doesn't die. That's why Krishna starts, na jayate mruyate va kadachit nayam bhutva na bhavita va na bhuyaha ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. When the body is killed, it doesn't get killed. He is alive because he is looking for dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara yatha dehanta praptihi. So just as the body is growing and he is occupying the growing body, when the body becomes dilapidated, he looks for another body. Therefore, there is a never birth of the Jivatma that we are talking about. Only real death of the Jivatma comes when he recognizes that I am aham brahmasmi. Then therefore the very purpose of the body, mind and intellect is fulfilled in the realization that I am the totality, or aham brahmasmi. Thereafter there is no need of body, because the purpose has been served. Kruta krutyaha. He has accomplished what needs to be accomplished, or what the very purpose of life itself. That is the purpose of life. Therefore, the whole purpose is not gaining happiness from outside. Recognize that I am that Brahman. That means I am full by myself. That means I am the very source of happiness, and that happiness is akhandam, unbroken happiness. That's what I am longing for. All that is implied in the analysis of this Annamaya Kosha. So I am not the body has to be practiced. Practice means recognizing every time and meditating, see myself, I am different from the body. When I can witness the body and witnessing from the top to bottom, so the part of meditation, we look at it, the whole body is, I can, as though looking at the whole body, I am separate from the body. I can visualize the body and I am enlivening the body, but the body has some purpose and utility for transactions, but I am not the body. That has to be understood. So body, because of its nature, has to undergo its modifications. That is also natural. Therefore, the birth and death is part of the body. But I do not die or I am not born. So therefore, that recognition comes only when I stop identification with the body. We'll further analysis in the next talk. We'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.